Season 15 of Cosmic Crucible is now in the bag, and while we didn't go undefeated 3-0 all the way through, we did level up. Diamond 3, here we come. Let's talk about what I learned and what's next. Alright, so first up, I want to talk about pivotal teams, because when you're going 2-1 every single week, it's not just luck. It's the teams doing their work. So on offense, two squads stood above everything else, and that was the Starjammers and the Immortal X-Men. These two teams were the MVPs. They were the teams that you could count on to take out a room, no matter pretty much what was in it. There were obviously a few counters, Emma Frost X-Men being one of them against Starjammers. But apart from that, choosing your rooms, they were the MVPs. The Immortal X-Men, I cannot give enough praise to, and they are the next team that I am working on to get to level 105. So they had some real value. But there were some surprises too. First up, Vigilantes proved how good of a team they are. Not only could they handle Night Stalkers, which kind of feels like their prey, they also, with the right RNG, could even break that Phoenix Force soup team from Room 1. That was some serious value, and originally I thought they were just going to be a bit of a niche squad taking out those sort of B tier defenses. But another team completely changed my mind mid-season, and that was Liberty. I started with them on defense. Bring them over to offense was a game changer. In Room 1 especially, where they could take a ton of punishment and then flip the script completely thanks to the room rules, they absolutely stole some brilliant wins for me. Now on defense, the MVP team has to go to the Illuminati, Odin and Emma Frost combo that I had. That just drew such value. It was either drawing their Illuminati teams or Starjammer teams that it would take out. It got me more wins than what I was thinking it would. It was forcing those inefficient counters, and that was what I really needed. But right behind them was the Night Stalkers, especially when they were in Room 6 with Scientist Supreme. This setup caught people off guard, netted me some real clutch wins in Diamond 2. It wasn't flashy, but it was effective. On the flip side, there was one team I expected a little more from, and that was the Thunderbolts. In Season 15, they had their own room rules, but they just felt sluggish in the mirror matches on offense, which cost you efficiency. But on defense, they didn't fare much better. They were just getting blown up by Cabal, especially when Kang and Ares were in the mix. Cabal were just punching up so highly into them, it made the Thunderbolts feel like a liability. But overall, those were the teams that shaped my Season 15. Some reliable, some surprising, and a few that just didn't quite hit the mark. Now let's talk about lessons, because while the teams matter, the mindset matters more as you climb higher in the Cosmic Crucible ranks. Early in the season, I'll be honest, I completely winged it. I'd look at a defense and just send in whatever I felt was strong enough to take it down. But as the season progressed, I actually started planning room by room. What team would I use for Room 1? What's my backup for Room 6 if something goes wrong? That shift in preparation made a huge difference. When I went in with a plan, I won more consistently. It was that simple. This one's still a work in progress for me. I had to unlearn the instinct to always go for the clean one-shot. Sometimes it's much smarter to either go in and sack a room, or even sometimes if your one-shot attempt fails, to keep that attempt and go in and clean it up afterwards. There are countless occasions where I have dropped rooms just because I was always trying to go for the one-shots, and I was in that mindset where I would back out and then I'd run out of attacks. So that is one thing that I have really learned. And this is going to be key as I move higher and higher in the Cosmic Crucible rankings, because I'll start facing stronger, more technical defenses like Professor X's. And I know I'm going to need to lean into this more, setting up 2 taps or 3 taps, and instead of just getting it done in one go. I've said before that the new stat meta teams are a great foundation, and they still are. But one thing I learned during my time in Diamond 2 is that once you hit a certain point, it's no longer just 6 teams for defense and 6 teams for offense. You need to have that flexibility, that wider roster. I used to think I can prove this without a wide roster, but higher up, you start seeing people mix in other characters that sometimes the new stat meta characters just do not cope with. So you need a deeper bench just so you've got that flexibility. So teams like Cabal, for example, which is a team and Illuminati even, which is a team that I struggle to recommend building for, especially for new players, is actually something that I found really clutch. And I am struggling with the temptation of not bringing those guys up any higher. So it's not about building everything, but it is about identifying which older characters are still going to hold value in Crucible and be ready to adapt. Those 3 shifts that I've got, the planning, the patience, and the roster depth, they're what I'm taking with me into Diamond 3 and the Ultimate 32. And so this leads us really nicely into my Ultimate 32 defense. So let's take a look at this. So we have Take a Moment, which is room 1. On offense and defense, all characters are going to lower their focus by 5,000% and damage by 50% for any non-Mephisto character that takes a turn before any character on defense. The standard rules on defense, all characters gain 20% health and 10% damage, and after each completed attempt, gain +1 exhausted. Cancelled combats do not gain the +1 exhausted. So this room here is calling for a very, very slow defense team, and I can't think of anything slower apart from if you have the accursed built. This might be the best room to put them in because they are very, very slow. But I don't own the full accursed, and I'm not confident on putting a partial accursed in, so I am going to put a team that I used last season in to this room, which is Wanda's Revenge with Ancient One and Apocalypse. This is a very slow team, it's a very slow room, and so hopefully this will give us exactly what we need to capitalize on the room rules here. The thing with Ultimate 32 is that we have to remember is that you get 6 attacks on each room, so it is not like any of these rooms are going to hold. You are just looking for that tiny little bit that might give you that 1 or 2 points edge in efficiency over your opponent. So that is Take a Moment room 1. Room 2, we are looking at Sinister's Gambit. So this has the same standard rules as Take a Moment, which is the extra defense and extra damage, or health and extra damage when on defense. But the rules for this room is on offense and defense, all characters on spawn, your character with the highest health clones the enemy character with the highest attack. And so what I've gone for in this room is another defense that did me really well in season 15, and that is the Illuminati Odin Emma. Now this will stop Starjammers coming into me hopefully, but with Odin is actually my highest health character that I have on my roster, and you can check that yourself for your roster by going into the marvelstrikeforce.com website, going to the character stats, and then go off of your roster, and it will bring up all the stats from your roster exactly how you have them built, and you'll be able to see what the highest health character is. So my whole thing here is that I've got a team that's fairly hard to move, and my highest health character being Odin is going to clone their highest attack character, which will hopefully give me some form of, you know, advantage here, because we'll get a bit more damage into this team. So that is the idea there. Room 3 is spiritual energy. This is on offense and defense. All characters, anytime a character gains energy from an active ability, they gain +1 extra energy. When an enemy character dies, allied characters gain +1 ability energy, and ultimate abilities cost 3 more ability energy. Now, I think this room is a bit of a trap. I think this is a room that, how can we say this? This is a room that basically people are going to look at this thing here and go, oh, I can get extra energy. And I think this is the trap part. I think the enemy character dying is quite interesting about the energy, and I'm going to be interested to see how that works, if that's our characters gain the ability energy when an enemy character dies, or if that is the enemy character's allies gain +1 ability energy. But obviously we're not going to know about this until the first round starts in 21 hours. The thing here is the ultimate abilities cost 3 more ability energy. And so what I've done here, because of this, I've actually chosen characters in this room that have low cooldown specials, that rely more on their specials than on their ultimates. And if they do actually get to their ultimates, it will be devastating. And so in this room, I have gone for the following. I've gone for Gladiator and Thanos Endgame with Quasar and Phoenix Force. Quasar will use his special, which will put out the exposed. Same with Thanos Endgame. He will use his special to put out the exposed. That will start the energy battery for this team anyway. And then we have Omega Red Phoenix Force, who loves using his special. The special on Gladiator here is, okay, the ultimate for Gladiator is the taunt, but the special here is the heal and the clearing abilities on your opponents. And obviously, Phoenix is only really interested in the special, whether she is in her normal Phoenix mode or her Dark Phoenix mode. So I think this room will do me okay. So that is my defense for the Ultimate 32. I'd like to know in the comments down below what you're going to be using on defense in the Ultimate 32 and what you think of this defense as well. And that's where we're at. Season 15 is in the books. And with Diamond 3, our new destiny, and the Ultimate 32 just ahead of us, the competition we know is only getting tougher. I'm feeling more focused, more prepared, and definitely more aware of what I still need to improve. Cosmic Crucible is fast evolving into my favorite game mode, and I'm here for it. Let me know in the comments what your standout teams were from Season 15 and what you're building towards for Season 16. I'd love to hear your strategies as we all try to climb those Crucible ranks together. Stay sharp, Commander, and stay positive.